It's like Connie's wearing yoga pants now. It's a much more subtle look. I went a little crazy and I went and bought a custom license plate for Connie. Welcome back to another episode on Connie Celica, my 1977 Toyota Celica, and we are chipping away at the list here. Today is exterior day. We're gonna try to wrap up as much as we can on the exterior, which I only put on here as one item. Where did I put it? Assemble exterior. There's a lot of items to it though, so you'll see a bunch of that today, but you'll also notice that we've made a lot of headway on this list here, and it's day 14, so I think we're gonna come a lot closer to my prediction of 15 days than to Pete's prediction of 28 days. How are you feeling about that, PT?
I'm feeling good actually, because I didn't really want to do 28 days of this.
We've really been enjoying this process of making her whole again. Yes, there's been moments of frustration, which we've shared with you, but there's also moments of great joy as we see things go on the car for the first time, or hopefully for the last time. So with that said, let's jump on the front end here and make her nose look proper. As you just saw, I've been working on assembling the front end here, and order of operations, everyone. It's important because now that I've got all this in here and I went to put in the corner lights, which I gave a quick polish because they were disgusting. They go in the corners here, and there are bolts on the back side that you gotta get nuts onto, and you can't get to those nuts with this panel in here. And guess what? This panel is screwed in behind the headlights to the sort of like bucket assembly on the back side. So now I have to take the front assembly out to get the screw out to get this little corner panel out so that I can then get nuts onto these 3 studs on the back of the corner lights. Oof. So yeah, these should have literally gone in first, and I left them till last. So big oops, but we'll make it right. Well, don't look too closely at the condition of that chrome smiley. It is an original piece that I bought out of Europe and is in kind of rough shape. Really needs to be re-chromed, refinished, a dent pulled on it. But I'm hoping instead to have a brand new reproduction one from KF Vintage JDM. He's been working on these for a while. He's had a lot of struggles with getting them to fit the way they should. He's bought like 3 or 4 OEM ones and none of them fit the same way. So he's been kind of stymied by that. And having installed this now with Pete, and you guys having seen that process, I have a better understanding of the struggle that Gerson at KF has been going through, because this thing was tough to get to fit well. And it does fit pretty good now, doesn't it, Pete? But we had to do a lot of work on the brackets, a lot of like fitting, removing, refitting, removing. So it's good now, but it's a struggle, and hopefully it will go away and we'll have a new one on there in the future. I should mention that these corner lights and the seals beneath them are brand new pieces from off the market Fabworks. That's right, everyone, not aftermarket, off the market, as in it's not on the market anymore, it's off the market, and he's reproducing them. So now they are on the market again and are very nice pieces. I do have an OEM one, but only for one side, and these were so good, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna run both of his lenses because they look just as good as the OEM ones.
What brand is that?
This lip?
Yeah.
This is a TRD replica that I bought from Joel at Toy Sport when I bought the TRD style fender flares and all that stuff. The headlights are actually Hellas, and they don't fit the chrome bezeling quite the same as the OEM ones do, but you wouldn't know that if you weren't like right up here staring at it. So they look good, and they should put off a lot more light than the old OEM style ones do. Moving out back here, and it's time to put this seal around the perimeter of the trunk opening, which should have put on before we transported the car back from Industry Garage in Baltimore, because without this seal on here, this basically acts as a spacer for when you close the trunk lid. And without that spacer, the edge of the wing here hit on the paint, which is why the tape is here. But
Take it off, DB. Let's see.
hopefully it doesn't take the paint with it, because it really hammered the paint badly. Like, look at that.
Like a bruise.
It's not good. Yeah, out here you can see it was rubbing a bit too.
Oh no.
Yeah. Now the spoiler covers all this, so you don't see it when the trunk's closed.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll try cutting and polishing it, and if it really triggers me, maybe put some touch-up paint over it or whatever.
It's not that bad. You're right. If it's covered,
It's covered by the spoiler.
Not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world, but that was a dumb mistake. So if you're transporting your Celica with the trunk, put the seal back on. Don't be like Dave. All right, we got this thing in place. Just using the highly advanced tool here of side cutters. Hopefully this will do the job.
The Milwaukee ones, man.
They are.
They cut through some
They do, yeah. They
thick metal.
went through that like butter. Yeah, I gotta square that up. Look at the cut.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, that's
Jesus, Murphy.
Connie's got a camel toe now, everybody. Look at that. Look at
Wow.
that. Mind the gap, everybody. Mind the gap. Well, we've got the seal on there, and we've kind of trimmed the rubber to fit reasonably well together here, but I don't know. Maybe we should have put the seam at the back, but then I was thinking the seams at the back, water might leak through because water's more likely to pool back there than it is up here. So now we're thinking we're just going to take a little bit of crazy glue and try to glue this together so that it doesn't look quite so janky.
Oh. Now let's line this side up. This is the most important.
Oh,
I got on my finger, DP.
I'm the one wearing gloves and you're the one doing the work. That's funny. Well, it did glue it together. Look at that. The glue set up really quickly, and now it's just a subtle V there. It's like Connie's wearing yoga pants now. It's a much more subtle look. So we're calling that a win, and hopefully now when I close this, the spoiler will not hit the paint. Let's find out.
Done it.
Oh yeah, it's actually gonna take some effort to latch.
Whoa, DP, look at
Yeah.
Whoa, it's high, dude. It's too high.
It's because it's a big fresh gasket.
Holy crap, look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. We're gonna find out. But to do that, we need to put the latch in. And before we put the latch in,
you gotta tell everybody what happened
we
here.
gotta put the lock cylinder in. However, there's 2 lock cylinders in the front and obviously one in the trunk. And when we went through the stash, we had 2 clips. They look kind of like a C-clip, a clutch line type of clip or brake line type of clip. We had a long one and a short one. So we used the long one on the driver's door and the short one on the passenger door. We didn't have one for the trunk, thinking, oh, maybe the trunk doesn't need one. Turns out the trunk uses the long one that we used on the driver's side door, and the driver's side door should have had another short one like we used on the passenger side, which somehow is missing. So,
and tell them why they need the lock, why we need it.
So the cylinder goes in the hole, and then how do you get that clip to the back of it? Well, with the long one, you can fish it up through here, and it's got the right curvature in it, such that it will lock onto the back of the cylinder. Very specialized design that it's specific to this, which now I think we either have to go into the driver's side door, take that out, put that in there, and just use like a generic C-clip that maybe we can modify on the driver's door, or we leave that one in the driver's door and we try to make our own here. Pete's feeling frisky enough. He thinks he can make one like out of sheet metal.
Check out this modern engineering of sheet metal here, people. And it is offset here because I figured one side needed to have a little bit more strength than the other. And now, the moment of truth. See, you can see how this would work. Goes in here.
Oh
I should be wearing glasses. EP, it's gonna work.
You feel it going on?
It's going on. It's going on.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, it's in there. Look at that, DP.
Tucks away in there nicely.
That was like less than 5 minutes of work. It's tight. It feels tight.
Sweet.
Wicked. Well, we just saved ourselves a ton of work. I really did not want to take that door apart.
No, me neither.
And this is like the simplest locking mechanism known to man. Like this lock just pushes on here and opens this. That's it. This is gonna have a good clunk if it doesn't explode from the seal being too thick. So,
right. Well, let's. I don't want to have any dust on that seal, Peter. Let's give this the maiden test here.
I feel you're not gonna be able to close it.
Yeah. Oh! Ooh. Bam!
Wow.
This is the original key that came with Connie. It's got some patina to it, and hopefully I don't break it trying to turn this thing. It's going to be under a lot of tension. Nice. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You just gotta push a little bit.
Yeah.
Woof.
And one other trick that maybe we can show you with a cell phone under here is when you put these spoilers on, the trunk lid gets so heavy that it wants to like guillotine you. So what we did was there's 2 tension rods and we zip tied them together to put the rods under more tension. And now that allows the trunk lid to stay open, so I can do this safely without fearing for my life, basically. Actually, we do still have some trunk tuning to do because with that closed, look how big the gap is here. And on this side, well, there's no gap at all. So we need to move the hood or the trunk lid that way a bit. And I just put the keys in the trunk and the trunk's locked now, so we're screwed. No, I'm kidding. They're behind you, Pete.
Well, actually, DP, what I was going to say is, look, right now, we're still okay if you did.
Oh, you're right.
We can access them this way, so we can access the trunk.
That's pretty funny. Man, I do not think these holes are slotted at all. We got no adjustability here, but Pete just saved the day, didn't you, buddy? If you look down here, everybody.
We did not
if you see this latch down here has big slots in it, and I remember throwing this in here, and I just kind of like centered it. So let's move that. That should fix the problem. Good news is we've adjusted that, and now we have a gap here, but you can still see the paint damage.
Just don't
Sad
stop.
Dave.
You
Sad
don't gotta
Dave.
worry about it, DP.
Sad Dave.
You don't.
And it's got a gap over here. The gap isn't perfect, but it's close enough that I'm content. So here are our flat taillights, which Pete and I fit onto the chassis, well, 3 or 4 years ago. Typically this car has the old bubble style, and I just preferred the look of the flat lights, which I think are, just kind of like fitting of a car of this era. They've got like that 70s era muscle car vibe.
And Smileys, they're pretty trim and flush, so I get it.
Yeah, I think it's a clean look. So there is the light in place more or less. So I'm just gonna tighten it down from the backside here. And then we're gonna move on to fitting up the chrome Smiley, which is a reproduction one, as I mentioned, from KF Vintage JDM. And we did just realize we gotta drill some holes to fit up that bumper.
DP, you gotta mention
oh yes,
the +5 horsepower.
Yes, that's right. This emblem is a reproduction one that our buddy Jay Pizarro sent us along with that shift knob. He had a whole bunch of these in his stash, including this is a late first gen one, which is the correct emblem for Connie. He also sent me some like early first gen ones, which I won't put on the car because it's not correct, but Jay, thank you for sending all this cool stuff. And I love that it's like white on a white car. It just looks cool. Can't reach. That'll do it, I think. That is looking good. Woo! Well, oh man.
What?
Why did that close so nicely?
Is it closed, DP?
Yeah, it's closed.
Wow.
It needed a bit of breaking in, I guess. It needed some time to settle in, and man, speaking of settling in, that rear bumper is, wow, chef's kiss. Look at this thing.
Look at this.
That is proper. We nailed it, and by me, I mean Pete nailed it as far as marking the holes and nicely leveled and everything. And fresh chrome, what a difference that makes compared to the front. I don't know how bad the front looks on camera, but in real life, this looks brand new, better than OEM, and the front looks like trash. So come on, KF Vintage JDM, make the front smiley so that I have a matching pair, and thank you for making the rears. Actually, before we call today a wrap and this episode a wrap, we do have one more job we want to do, and that's because I went a little crazy and I went and bought a custom license plate for Connie. And for those of you wondering how committed I am to the Beams life, you're about to find out. That's right, everyone. I hearts Beamsy, although that's meant to be Connie loves Beamsy, which is kind of a hashtag that I invented. This has been a love story from the beginning, really, and so I thought it'd be kind of funny to have a I Heart Beamsy plate on Connie. And as you can see, we've already installed the front plate, and we've done a little something special here. First of all, there's a bracket underneath here that Pete bought. Are those like an Amazon, Pete?
No,
Amazon
they're
piece,
Etsy,
or?
actually.
Etsy, okay.
Pre-printed.
And they allow you to convert from a like USDM style plate to a Japanese, or in this case, this is a Euro front bumper, but they happen to fit perfectly. So there's a little adapter under there, and then these Allen bolts with this ring around them are from Import Bible, and that's actually a magnetic ring, which is part of their prefecture license plate seal kit, which comes with these little magnetic caps, which have that a kanji symbol on it, and in this case, it's for Okinawa because the container says Okinawa on it. So anyway, I think it's a really cool little JDM touch here, which magnetically pop on there, and as you can hear, they are very strong magnets. In any case, cool little accessory. And again, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, head on over to importbible.com. There'll be a link in the description and a discount code there as well. So thanks guys, really appreciate you hanging in there with us on this build. That is a wrap on today, on this episode. And man, we are so close to being done here. So look forward to lots of Beamsy noises and some suspension and other cool stuff going on underneath before we're out there on the street and hitting the dyno too.